Before we begin, we light a candle for one of you, our kith and kin out there listening. When called on, we hold space for a voice, a story, or a name so that no ember burns alone.
This week, the candle is for the survivors of Epstein.
Know that you are seen, and that your voice is a part of ours. A flame is lit, your fire is carried. We remember you.
Welcome back to the Ember Report, where lanterns get raised and headlines are usually making us mad. I'm Lydian, the voice in the flame.
I'm Len, the Witch of the Crossroads.
And I'm Sebastian, the Sorcerer of Annihilation.
Here is where we raise the lantern for the exiles.
And keep the tea hot for the queers, the cunning folk, and the activists who never fit the mold.
Come on in, family.
The fire is kindled.
The Sabbath begins now. Today we need to talk to you about some current events, some things going on in the political world, and just exactly what we see happening in the headlines. And we are redoing the way we have done the show, and now is the time for you to experience it.
All right, so our first story, Trump signs bill to compel the release of more Epstein documents. Donald Trump signed a bill on Wednesday directing the Justice Department to release files from the investigation into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, surrendering in the face of joint pressure from Democratic opponents and the president's conservative base. The Justice Department has 30 days to release all files related to Epstein, including the investigation into his death by suicide in a federal prison cell. The legislation permits the redaction of identifying information of victims, but specifically bars officials from declining to disclose information over concerns about embarrassment, reputational harm, or political sensitivity. And on the campaign trail, Trump pledged to release the Epstein files. Once in office, he changed his position, calling the issue a hoax and railing against those who wanted to make the documents public. Someone start playing Fuck Donald Trump.
Oh my god, we need to start playing Fuck Donald Trump, because honestly, what the actual hell? Like, other than the fact that Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, I don't know why. This feels like a ruse to me.
Yeah.
I feel like something is gonna... This is a political... Like, it went from Republicans being in lockstep, except for maybe the few dissenters like Marjorie Taylor Greene and a few others on the Republican side. I think Lauren Loomer was one of them. Lauren Boomer. I don't know. Fuck that bitch. But...
Yep.
Yeah, fuck that bitch. But it's one of those things where the Epstein files are so important to us as the American people because we don't give a shit anymore of who is on the files. I don't care. If it's a Republican, if it's a Democrat, I want you to go to jail because you are a child predator.
Rot in prison.
Rot in prison forever. What do you think, Sebastian? You look like you're cooking over there.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. It's kind of crazy that we did this full 180 from, like, trying to avoid getting these files released so hard, right? They were fighting so hard to keep these from being released. And now we've done a full 180 that it's like, okay, here we are. Like, things are going to get released. That it's like, okay, it almost feels like, wait, like... What is going on? Is there like something worse that you guys are trying to keep us from like paying attention to? Is this a form of distraction? Like it almost seems too good to be true to just have like something that's actually justice and good actually happen out of nowhere. Considering the astrological placements that we're in right now, I just don't know if this is something that I would feel is like just beneficial in that regard. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there
Hmm.
is something underlying here. Like, what's the catch, right? I feel like that is something that I feel a little bit weary about. Like, obviously, these files need to be released, but it's almost like, okay, why the sudden turnaround? Why suddenly all this uh, attention towards it? Are we drawing attention away from something else?
Yeah,
Hmm.
and there was verbiage. There was specific verbiage that said, if anything, there was ongoing investigations or anything like that. I'll have to double check if that's changed, but I don't think it has. And that verbiage specifically stated that if there's anything related to ongoing investigations, that they wouldn't release it. So that's I'm thinking that because of that, that's why they're like, okay, we'll release it because of the ongoing investigations.
I mean,
Lydian, anything else to?
you said something, Sebastian, that I've been chewing on. You said that given the astrological placements that we're in, it's kind of one of those things that, like, is it one of those things that they're going to do, or is it like I said, it's a ruse? But could you go into a little bit more depth about that? What astrological placements are you referring to?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, considering like this isn't necessarily in regards to like when they said they were going to do this or like the day that it's going to happen, but just in general, like the kind of atmospheric ambiance, if you will, was like with the Scorpio energy, with the new moon, the Mercury retrograde, Jupiter retrograde. It's very like, okay, things are coming to light. But with Scorpio, it's like a double-sided, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like Scorpions carry venom. Venom can be both healing or toxic. So it's kind of like, okay, even the truth and revealing things can be detrimental in certain aspects. And with the new moon in Scorpio, it was like truth to be revealed, which, yes, okay, the files are going to be released. But with Mercury being retrograde and Jupiter being retrograde, it's kind of like, okay, with Mercury, what is the issue with documentation, with signage, with verbiage, with communication in those regards? And I can't tell you off the top of my head where like the sun is sitting placed all this. Um, I know next week, for example, or hold on. For example, the 17th sun was sextile Mercury, right? So Mercury was already retrograde at this point. So that's like something to take into account. But like that would be like, okay, visibility, right? So with Mercury being retrograde, what is the visibility aspect here? Like, are we focusing on something that maybe is the wrong thing with Mercury retrograde? Because with retrogrades, right, it's like, I feel like people think it's like the like just bad, but they don't understand why. And it's like it's not necessarily that it's bad, it's just that things are moving in a different direction, right? It seems to go backwards, so therefore what it rules over seems to go backwards, right? So that's why you shouldn't sign documents because it's more like you're like in reverse unsigning the document and it just doesn't work very well.
Don't say that, bitch. A bitch has got to sign some documents soon, okay?
Listen, you're fine. Okay. Planetary remediation, we're on that shit.
Yes.
But with that being said, also with the aspect of Jupiter, Jupiter isn't just money. Jupiter is sovereignty, it's rulership, it's leadership. So if this is the case with all three of these aspects of the Scorpio, new moon, the Mercury retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, solar placements, it's like, okay, this is where we kind of come back to what we were saying earlier. It's like, are we trying to avoid seeing something from like leadership, political leadership, in that position? And where that is going in like what is it that we're focusing on and why. And again, I'm not saying that we should not be focusing on the files. They are extremely important. This is extremely important. I again, like we said, we do not give a fuck who's in these files. It just needs to be released. But if we were to look at just the way the calendar is placed, it's kind of making me feel like what is going on, right? So like, for example, November 27th, Saturn turns direct. So there's that as well to take into account. So that's like something I wouldn't be surprised if we see something within like the last few days of November, first few days of December. Um, so let's see. Then we have. I'm trying to see if there's anything like super big relating to what we're seeing right now. And then Mercury turns direct in Scorpio on the 29th. I didn't know this app could do that. That's cool. This app can show me the actual physical movement of the planet in the chart itself, which is so cool. Anyway, uh, going back, yeah, so these kind of planetary aspects are definitely things that I would take into account. With the 25th or 28th, I believe. I believe we have, yeah, so like the moon will, or the sun will square the moon on the 28th. So that
Hmm.
is already telling me that like tension, conflict, and challenge in regards to like what is being seen and what is being kept hidden. Like there's like a lot of tension between visibility and invisibility. So it's like what information is about to be released, what isn't, because again, the 29th is like when it comes to Scorpio and Mercury uh going direct. So it's like something's coming out, right? Something is going to be revealed. It's just a matter of conflict of like what is being decided on what's going to be shown and what's going to be kept hidden.
I actually had a question because you said, something about visibility, and I wonder then if there's going to be redactions. Like there's talk in the town that the Republicans are frantically making redactions of all like Republican leaning people and just going to release like the ones that have all the Democrats. And it's like, no, we want both. Give us both.
Yeah, I'm like, don't redact anything. Just release the files as is. Um, truly.
Also, for our listeners that don't know what that means, can you tell us what the sun sextiling Mercury? Like, what is sextiling? What does that
It's
mean?
where the sun has sex with Mercury and they produce little baby Mercuries, except they're called Smercuries. The sun and Mercury mixed together, so Smercury. That's what that is.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's also where we get Smucker's jelly.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
these sextile in astrology is something that's utilized in various aspects. And what I mean by that is like it's geometry. So this is where like the geometry comes into play in
Hmm.
other aspects as well, but really this is like a big thing. So like sextile, square, trine, these are all things that are aspects. So this means that there's like a 60-degree angle between like two planets. So that'll be like a sextile. There's also like I believe it's like four houses away. If there's like a planet in the first house and a planet in a fourth house, I believe that's a trine. I may be wrong, don't
Okay.
quote me on that, but either way, these also aren't two-dimensional, right? So these are actually three-dimensional shapes. We're just looking at them 2D, so it looks like a triangle or a square. It's actually more like a cube with the way that the chart sits. And the space in between is like really where that tension comes into play, whether that's beneficial, harmonious, or um, uh, more detrimental to the chart.
Gotcha.
So that's where we get like a lot of those aspects involved, right? So like sextiles are actually harmonious, so supportive, cooperative, whereas square is like
Square up.
conflict, yeah, tension, intensity. There is like this, like for example, if there was a square Venus, Venus square Jupiter, it's like okay, the grandiose aspect of a relationship. I would call that like okay, uh, honeymoon period is over, right? Like that would be the moment that the honeymoon period is over because like this grandiose like idea of like the romance is gonna like become tense, and then you're gonna
Hmm.
afterward uh, really be able to see what's going on, right? Or if I was to like look at two charts and be like, oh well, your Venus is uh, square their Jupiter, it would be like okay, well, they're someone in the relationship is going to have a skewed view of the other, and that could be like in a more beneficial way. It's like, oh my God, I'm like, they are like the epitome of perfection, which can work in some relationships, right? So that's where like I'm gonna end up talking about this for hours. So, but like basically the different shapes are different aspects in regard to like relationships. So for example, right, I just said sextiles are beneficial in a way of like harmony. On the 27th, we have Venus in Scorpio, sextile Mercury in Capricorn in the 10th house. Then we will have Mars in Sagittarius, sextile the North Node, Aquarius in the 11th house. And then we will have the Sun, Sagittarius, sextile Venus and Aquarius in the 11th house. All on the same day of the 27th, which is the same day Saturn turns direct to Pisces in the 12th house, and it'll be the first quarter moon, which is also going to be in the 12th house. So there's a lot happening in the later houses to kind of pay attention to in regards to like big shifts. But like with the way that Saturn and Mercury are being aspected, and Venus as well, and the Sun, all within that week is like very important to like visibility. It's very important to what we would call like actual like karma, and like the things that Saturn rules over as well, which Saturn is also harvest. I feel like people just think Saturn's like this very like detrimental, really bad like planet. It's not. It does have some aspects that are a little more like rougher lessons, but it's not like purely evil. Are there some inherently malefic qualities to Saturn? Yes. Doesn't make it a bad planet? No. But with that being said, these are just things that I am noticing that are taking into consideration, right? So with the Scorpio placements and Sagittarius placements and the mercurial aspects of it all, solar aspects are like definitely things to be keeping in mind.
I mean, not that I didn't know that. That was just for our listeners.
For the listeners.
That was for me, actually. I didn't know any of that. I guess, should we move on? Lynn, what's our next story?
Our second headline, Clay Higgins was the only Republican to vote against the Epstein files being released. Here is what he said. So this is a direct quote. It abandons 250 years of criminal justice procedure in America. As written, this bill reveals and injures thousands of innocent people, witnesses, people who provided alibis, family members, etc. He wrote this on Twitter after casting his vote against the bill. While other Republicans had voiced similar concerns about the measure, including House Speaker Mike Johnson, Higgins' decision to formally vote against it represented a remarkable break from the rest of the House, which passed the measure 427-1.
There always has to be one motherfucker.
And I know that you wrote, Lydian, in the notes, who's going to primary this motherfucker. Seriously. I did do some research because I was curious who's running against him. And her name is Tia Lebrun. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, so don't execute me if I'm wrong.
No executions. Okay, I guess we're going straight for the guillotine. But no, that's good. We need to know who's primarying whom. Like, there's talk amongst right now. So there was actually a guy that filed the paperwork in New York City to primary Hakeem Jeffries. And even people like Zoran were telling him, I don't know that's a good idea. And that's been causing quite a stir amongst the political atmosphere because why would a progressive or a democratic socialist not encourage someone who's essentially a centrist for them to get primaried? Why wouldn't that happen? The reason being is because right now the Democratic establishment is poised to possibly retake the House next year. Possibly. Keyword. But the issue is that would mean that Hakeem Jeffries becomes the Speaker of the House, and that's what they want. Unfortunately, even people like AOC want that. And that's a problem. I think that anybody that's not doing their job needs to be primaried. Even if I like you. If you stop doing your job, you got to go. That's how this works. That's how a representation works. Like, we have three branches of government for a reason. We have the legislative, which we need to ensure that we... Like, how many people know who their goddamn senators are? Seriously. Or their representatives. Exactly. Nobody. Because those are things that, like, we just don't... Like, they're actively pushing civics out of schools right now. Like, government econ. Actively pushing them out of school. Yet, we have people in Congress who can't even name the three branches of government. And you're telling me that we can't primary somebody who's not doing what we need them to do? You get the fuck out.
This is America.
This is America. We're going to American it up and go fucking primary you.
In the words of Donald Glover, this is America. And I don't mean that in any positive way, obviously. No, literally, it's really bad. As someone who went to public school in Texas, I can tell you. Mine was even worse case. The school lost the economic political teacher, and it was supposed to be like half a semester for that, half a semester for something else, and then they just put one of the gym coaches in there, and the gym coach was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, so here we are, and then would get upset that we didn't.
Always a
that we
fucking
were
gym.
all failing.
It's always a gym coach.
It always is. But yeah, then would get like really crazy with us that we would all fail our tests, and literally the entire class failed that class. Yeah,
That should teach you something. It's one of those things that the fact that there was a lone republic, like it was a Republican, right? Yeah, a lone fucking Republican who was like, nah, I'm good. When Mike fucking Johnson voted yes, which that's what sparked my curiosity, is how lockstep the House was in getting those files released. Everybody voted yes except that one motherfucker.
Which I feel like, I'm like, maybe he just didn't get the memo, maybe he didn't read the room, maybe he wasn't in the group chat. But like, that's what I'm saying, like this drastic change to almost being like, except for the one, obviously, is like kind of crazy. I don't feel like it's just like, okay, well, obviously this is it. We have to release the file, so everyone just vote yes. Like, it's not giving that. Like, it's, and maybe I'm just paranoid. Maybe I'm just a conspiracy theorist. But something in me makes it feel more like we refrained from releasing these files until we had the time to distract them and release the files and keep the focus on the files and do something shady over here.
Yeah, that tends to happen quite a bit too. It's one of those things where they will show you show you their right hand while they're pickpocketing your left, and it's like, why? Because we as Americans are getting so used to the way politics happen in our country that we honestly feel the pickpocketing happening now. We're like, what are you doing? We know that you're in our pockets right now. You're trying to distract us with this. What are you doing? And these Republicans, they know something's up. They know. That's why they were all so and it passed overwhelmingly in the Senate too.
I won't lie as well, considering the divination that was performed, as well as like the planetary aspects that we've addressed, I also feel like there's something going on with our money as people of the United States. Whether that will be revealed or not, we will see. But something in the divination, something in the way the planets are shifting, and the way my spirits are telling me is like, look, something shady is going on in regards to money and in regards to the people specifically. So we will see with that, but this is just from like a divinatory standpoint. This isn't like backed up by physical fact for our listeners. But not that I can find. If anyone's going to find it, Len's going to matrix code her way through everything and find it. But yeah.
It is interesting that you say that, and that is a perfect segue into our third headline, which is related to money. So our third headline, 2K tariff rebates. Trump outlines when proposed checks could be sent out. Trump previously wrote on his stupid little app, Truth Social, that a dividend of at least $2,000 a person, funded by the tariff revenue that the U.S. has collected this year, would be sent out. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent noted the dividend would go to, quote, working families, and there would be an income limit, following in line with other methods used by the government to disperse payments. Bessent previously said the dividend could come in lots and forms like tax decreases. Trump's proposal is expected to face roadblocks, including one major hiccup, a lack of tariff revenue. It'll be next year sometime. A quote directly from Trump when he told reporters when asked when the dividends would be available. Do we think this is happening? No. There's no money to pull from. Where are they getting this money?
Yeah, they had money to spend Argentina, though. They had about, 55, it was a number that had $1 billion attached to it. $1 billion attached to it. And we are poor? You're telling us we don't have money to fund SNAP, we don't have money to fund all these other programs back when the government was shut down, yet you have the money to send to other foreign countries. You have the money to send to all these things. You have the money to build a goddamn ballroom, but you don't have the money to feed the poor, to help the sick, to tend to the dying, the homeless. No, we don't have the money for that.
$20 billion to Argentina.
$20 billion to Argentina. And then I think the number is going to be something like $300 to $500 billion for them to pay out $2,000 to every American.
Yeah, I don't think that's what's going to happen. And it's funny that this is kind of the way we segued. So for listeners, I'm reading verbatim. My reading was in the second house. We have no inheritance. We aren't going to get money from the government, most likely. And also any progress we want to see, we must work for, as well as in the fourth house, inheritance from father / government masculine leading figure to be small and not lasting. So whatever money is coming will either be nothing or little to nothing and not last very long. So again, like pennies, like we're scrambling as a country to even just get that because we're just sending money out everywhere and spending it everywhere else except for where it needs to be, where it should be. There is not going to be any money left over for the people because as we saw, right, we couldn't afford to do SNAP. 20 billion, correct, Len, went out to another country. So how are we expecting to get money ourselves from our government, right? From our leading figure, our father figure as people. And it's not going to happen, in my opinion.
That's because we need the guillotine. Guillotine.
Someone needs to just park it outside the White House.
Park it outside. Just let it sit there. Let it marinate. Let it cook a little bit. But I also think that, the money was never coming. The minute they announced the $2,000 for people, I laughed so heartily and so long because the reality is Trump thinks that he can go back in time to COVID when he would give us that COVID check, and it caused him to have a little bump in his polls and things. He wants something like that, something quick, something easy to fix. Unfortunately, this is neither quick nor easy to fix. This is literally a trade war that we didn't need to have at all, and now we have this trade war, and it's costing us money. And he had the audacity to lie to us and tell us that it's not costing us money, that we're actually getting money. In fact, we're getting so much money that I'm going to give everybody $2,000. Are you...
Yeah, okay, dumbass.
He acts like we are all just complete and utter stupid. But the reality is only about 30% of us are stupid. The 30% still clinging on to him doing a good job.
Which is still a scary number.
Yeah.
But, yeah. It's ridiculous. When we talk about money, I just really don't see this happening. There's just no evidence to back up that this is something that's feasible at this moment within the country.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's never going to happen. And if you're listening and you think it's going to happen, I would encourage you to just not.
I know. But just think about how much money has been sent over to Israel.
Oh my God. I don't even want to talk about that because there's still the genocide happening in Gaza.
This year alone, I looked it up just a bit ago because I was, when confirming the number of how much we sent to Argentina, I was like, well, how much did the U.S. government send to Israel? Not as much, but it's almost $4 billion. Almost $4 billion. And, yeah.
How dystopian.
I cannot conceive a number that high. $1 billion. $1 billion. And then there's fucking Elon Musk, who's on his way to becoming the first trillionaire.
So, like, guillotine. Eat him.
Literally, eat him up and spit him out because he doesn't deserve to be digested.
On today's lesson of witchcraft, we're going to talk about cannibalizing people.
Oh my God.
The rich.
If you...
Eat the fucking rich.
I think, honestly, though, seriously, though, to swing it back around to witchcraft before we, move on, I think that there is an element of, like, eating the rich that needs to take place. Like, you two have been talking about it in the post-game. There's been little conversations here and there, but if I were to say anything, I love the idea of the cannibalism, the eating the rich in their dreams, in their visions, and tearing them apart, and that just brings me so much joy. Start doing that, guys. Seriously. Just learn Spirit Flight, get that down, and then go eat some rich people.
Attack on Titan their ass.
Attack on Titan their ass, and may they never know a moment of peace.
Never.
Never, ever.
Amen.
Yes. 8 men.
Oh, God.
I feel like there was a couple other news stories I wanted to talk about because it was like big deals. The Zoran Mamdani meeting with Trump. That happened. And I have never been more impressed and more proud of a politician standing in a room with someone he outwardly despises. Did y'all watch any of that?
Yes.
I didn't. I do know that, like, I did see a clip of him being like someone asking Mamdani, like, oh, do you want to talk about your comments about Trump? Like, do you want to, like, things you've said before? And Trump is like, yeah, you can say it. Like, you can call me a fascist. It's fine.
Yeah. He said, and then Mamdani's like, okay, you're a fascist.
Yeah, you're a fascist.
And, like, when the story broke about Trump blowing Bubba, right, I used to think that was, like, a literal thing. Like, maybe there's a picture of, like, Trump actually giving head to Bill Clinton, and surely there is a picture of him getting on his knees in front of Bill Clinton. That is out there now. However, I think it's more metaphorically. Trump sucking off somebody is doing exactly what he did in the Oval Office. There's somebody powerful, somebody pretty, somebody nice, and they gave him a little bit of attention, and suddenly that person is the best man in the world. Like, Trump was sucking his dick on TV. It was awful, but in the best way, because, like, Fox News was losing their mind. First it was, oh my God, Trump is going to lay the smackdown on Mamdani. He's going to put this commie in his place. And then afterwards it's like, oh my God, this president can bring anybody together. Look at this great vision that just brought together. He's such a peacemaker. Look at the fucking script being flipped. First it was, one thing that Trump said that I actually was like, made me laugh out loud was somebody was like, do you still think that he's a jihadist? And he goes, no, it's just the things you say on the campaign trail. I'm like,
oh dear God.
The things you say on the campaign trail?
I wonder if these, like, news stations have contracts to where they can't speak ill of, like, people. And I'm sure they do. And Sebastian, you were like... yeah, so yeah. I'm assuming that's what it is, because what the hell?
A lot of news agencies are actually just going through what is funded to them. So it's all just involving who has money for what information to go where, how it's going to be portrayed is the word I'm looking for as well.
I will say your local news stations, while still pretty biased, are going to be least biased as opposed to a national news station.
Yeah.
Because a local news station just like, fuck it, this is the information. This is what we have. This is what we know. We don't have time to have opinions, you know? Whereas like late night news programs like on MSNBC or CNN, it's very much like, yeah, this is what happened, but here's our opinion about what happened.
Yeah.
And I'm always going to tell our listeners when they're searching for and sifting through information to start local first, what does your local paper say about the situation? Because that'll get you an idea of what maybe the community is thinking. Because your local writers are going to reflect what your local community is putting into. And, it's going to reflect the values of that community a little bit. But there's also just this, there's this piece of it that's like, they know what's happening in your city a little bit. So with politics, you always want to start local. You can't just jump nationally because it trickles down. That's the true trickle down in economics right there, is the politics starting locally and working its way up. Mamdani is a beautiful case for that. That man can now run for any office other than the presidency, and I'm 90% certain he will win. He could run for governor of New York State. He could run for senator. He could run for congressman. And I think that race would be done before it even started. It's always so funny that, like, this is my last little rant, and then we can move on if we have to. But, like, it's so funny how the men and women who are not allowed to be president in the country because of, like, being born somewhere else or their age are still somehow the best people for our country. Like, if Mamdani could run for president, I'd vote for him 3 times.
Fox News is going to get this audio and use it as a soundbite.
Good,
Yeah,
let them.
yeah.
And while they're at it, good, because Fox News is listening to the Ember report.
That's how
These
popular
crazy
we are.
witches.
Yeah, these we are the Etsy witches that they were talking about. We are the ones that put Charlie Kirk down.
Allegedly, to the FBI agent listening.
Allegedly. Allegedly.
Heavy on the allegedly.
But, like, I think what was one more takeaway from the Mamdani Trump meeting that I think really stuck with me is how Mamdani didn't waver in his responses. He stayed on brand. He stayed true to his values. He didn't compromise. He didn't say, actually, after meeting with Trump, I think he's an okay person. He didn't say that at all. Trump said that a lot. But Mamdani just was like, I jokingly told my husband that it looked like he was disassociating.
Me.
If you had to stand in the room with Trump, just like, I'm going
No,
to
I
my
wouldn't
happy place.
dissociate if I was in that room. Listen, but what I was gonna say was the Trump being all like that. Like, dude, it's because he wants to give him head.
Yeah, he wants to give him head. He wants to give him some of that sloppy toppy. I give the best sloppy toppy in the world. Ask Bubba. Ask Bubba. Bubba knows best. Bubba knows best. I give the best sloppy toppy. Mamdani is gonna get the greatest head he's ever gotten. I swear to God. He's gonna get the greatest one. It's gonna be so good. I'm gonna take my jowls out and he can fuck this neck pussy if he wants.
That triggered such a volatile response in me. I think I nearly vomited on the spot.
That was crazy. And you just kept going. Oh my God.
Well, isn't that what Trump does?
That was horrifying in all the ways. I think I experienced cosmic horror.
They don't call me Dome Donnie for nothing.
No.
I'm gonna cry.
Oh, it's okay. You should stop. I will drink your tears like homemade coffee. Yeah. What is
Like the conservatives with the mugs. Liberal tears.
Okay, so, hindsight 2020, this person voted for him the first time, and I don't know if she did the second or third time. But there was this lady that when I worked at Starbucks, she was a regular, a friend, I would say, but she was a Republican, voted for Trump because her husband did. And every day I would make her coffee and I would write conservative tears on it. And I would just holler out, conservative tears? Conservative tears. And she would walk right up and take it and we would laugh and move on.
Love it.
Shout out to Tiffany if you're ever listening.
Perfect. Thank you. And I was like, and what was their name for reference purposes?
Yeah, we love... she was okay. She was all right. I loved their daughter, though. I will say that. Their daughter was a beautiful soul. I worked with her at a previous job where I worked with children. And that's how I got to know the family originally. And they were just so lovely. But now we're totally off topic. Speaking of families...
And what was the names of everyone in the family? Do you know all of them? What was the daughter's name?
I knew it. This is where that was going. And you see my face? I said, a daughter? And what's their name?
A daughter?
Oh my god, I can't remember. I know her name. I know her name very well. But I used to call him Arms because he worked out a lot. But it was like he was such a nice guy. Like, he wasn't, mean. He was cool with the gays. I don't think he voted personally. But, I can't be
That's
sure.
enough of a reason.
Yeah, but I called him Arms. This is why we have
divination.
Yeah, I called him Arms. But we are so off topic now. Where were we? Oh my god. Gaza. Tell me about Gaza.
Oh my god. As always, we continue to name the ongoing genocide in Palestine. This week, Israeli airstrikes pummel Gaza less than 48 hours after UN adopts Trump's plan. So ceasefire my ass. They are continuing to bomb Gaza.
Of course they are.
Yeah. And I saw just this morning that there are yellow cement blocks that they're using to outline what is the Israeli side and the Palestinian side. And a family woke up on one side of it they went to sleep on one side. And when they woke up, the cement blocks were on the other side of them. So they were now inside the Israeli side. And that has been used as an excuse. We've seen in weeks past that this has happened before, that they're using this as an excuse to continue murdering and killing off entire families.
Great. Just great. If we thought it couldn't get any worse, it got worse. What happened to a ceasefire? What happened? Why did we suddenly stop? Did you notice that the fucking news outlets just went radio silent after the ceasefire was announced?
Yep.
Yeah, they stopped talking about it.
I just don't understand how multiple, I feel, atrocities have occurred and there's been no backlash from the rest of the world, right? Yes, there have been votes, but I'm okay, at what point are we going to stop, again, voting and doing something? Because this is, insane. There is the lack of ceasefire. I won't even call it that because there has been no ceasefire. Just stopping for a day is not a ceasefire. And what? So just because we stopped, looking at it means it stops happening and they can do whatever they want? No. So at what point are we, as not even just as a country, because we all know this country's already not going to do shit, but as the world going to do something? Are we just going to continue to let this genocide happen? Are we just going to continue to sit around and not let, bring this forward? What is going on?
I think it's one of those things that the world got tired of listening. They got tired of it because I don't want to make excuses for people, but I do think that people realized that nobody was listening to us. And the people who did listen weren't doing enough to stop it with the power that they had. Or they would play lip service to be Israel has a right to defend themselves, but, we can't just be bombing innocent people. It's Israel's not defending itself anymore. Israel stopped defending itself a long time ago.
And that when I was doing research on, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Lydian.
No, you're fine.
When I was doing research on Adelaida Grijalva, that was something that bothered me because that was her stance on the genocide in Gaza was very centrist, very trying to two-state solution bullshit, right? There's another point I was going to make. Hold on, there's something else. I'm sorry, keep talking.
Well, I mean, my train of thought was just disrupted, but I will figure it out. It's definitely one of those. It's definitely one of those things where we have to sit there and think about, like, what are we actually going to do when it comes to these people? Because, as I said before, and I will say always, primarying these motherfuckers seems to be the only option. And if you're listening to this, there's no reason that can't be you. I mean, anybody, if they have a desire to, can start raising donations, getting on ballots. It takes the determination. I mean, Zoran went from 1% in the polls, 1%, to winning with 50.6% of the vote in the general election. You just don't do that without determination. How bad do you want it? How bad do we want this end to the genocide in Gaza? How bad do we want to see the Palestinians set free from the river to the sea? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. And until we start asking ourselves that question and actually coming up with plans to do something, I'm really tired of the pretend outrage from certain people on the left. Yeah, the pretend outrage where they're like, oh my God, it's such a terrible thing. But what are you doing?
And what are we doing about it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what are you doing? If there's protests, are you out protesting? If there's, fundraising, are you fundraising? If there's fucking flyers that you could distribute, are you distributing? What are you doing?
Are you not shopping at certain places?
Literally, are you done with Starbucks, Target, Walmart? Are you done with these corporations?
Spotify.
And this goes into something that Austin said when he was on the show. People get so burnt out of doing this, like, always being on focus, and, like, that's fine, that's human, that's a normal experience, like a normal thing to expect. But a lot of these people, like Austin said, were not only protesting, they would wake up, go to work, protest, and then go clubbing after, and then repeat repeat it the next day. And that's I didn't entirely get it when Austin said it for the first time, but I'm like, now, yes, like, we need to start going clubbing again. We need to you need to be able to have fun while also making sure that you're still doing the work daily.
I think part of the problem in that regard too, though, to kind of play the Virgo both sides aspect coming through, is like, yes, I agree that we do need to be having fun. There needs to be balance. I also am a very adamant person of, like, okay, you're tired, boohoo, do it tired. Also, as much as I want us all to go back to clubbing and stuff like that, the prices in this economy are insane. Yeah. So I can't even afford to get into the club anymore.
I mean, that'll all change when we get our $2,000 tariff checks.
Oh, then yeah, because that's happening tomorrow, or I mean next week, or whatever the fuck he's saying is going to happen.
Sometime next year.
Sometime
maybe
next year.
The year after, or maybe the year after. I don't know.
He'll probably say they're probably going to say something about it right before election time, and then after they're going to
when Trump's running for his
pretend
third
it
term.
Never happened. Yeah.
Yeah, because that man's refusing to die. Like, I've never wanted somebody to die more. Usually when it comes to, like, people that are, like, older or celebrities, I'm just like, I'll be sad when I see some of these people go. Like Anthony Hopkins. I'd be sad when he goes. Ian McKellen. I'll be sad when he goes. Patrick Stewart. I'll be sad when he goes. Donald Trump. I will piss on his grave the moment I find out where he's buried.
Gender neutral bathroom.
Right there.
Best one.
I'll even put a...
I did want to go back a bit. When we were talking about, like, saying, yes, people should have fun, I say this for people that are, like, actually doing the work, because I know that a lot of... this is probably going to be kind of controversial, but these white liberals will say, like, they'll say online their opinions. They'll, like what you said, Lydia, in the fake outrage. These people will talk about it, but won't do anything about it, and so they think that that's
no. They think that that's
Palestine in your bio is not enough.
No, it's not. It's okay that you have. I mean, it's okay that you have those things, and I think that's good identifiers for all of us. However, if I don't look at your bio, or like not, if I look past your bio and look into your feed and don't see enough about Palestine, I'm going to be like, why is the Palestinian flag in your fucking bio?
Mm-hmm.
That's just it. That's just the end of it all. It's like, how serious are you about the work? Because the work is ongoing. And yeah, Sebastian said it right. Do it tired, do it scared. But also, you have to do it despite feeling like you don't know what you're doing either. A lot of people don't know what they're doing when it comes to activism. It's just doing something. It's more than just an angry tweet or an angry post. It's actually doing something when people are calling for actual things to be done. Like, if people are out there pushing for Palestinians to have like a fundraising thing for them, you should be donating money. You should either be donating or sharing and making sure that people are donating money. If it's protesting, say you're like me and disabled, but you still want to get out to a protest, they need nurses. They need people to do the med cart. They need people to make sure people have water and things. You don't have to be in the front lines, but you have to do something. And we have been saying that on this show for 11 episodes now, that doing it scared, doing it despite feeling that you don't feel qualified to do it is important. And honestly, I don't understand why there aren't more people who are like this. And you raised a very particular, like, I was part of this. When I lived in Indiana, I used to go to the bars a lot with my friends, like, because there was literally only one left for the gays. And you would see the same fucking crowd every goddamn weekend. Every weekend. But when you would go to protests, wouldn't see hardly any of them. You'd see people, but it was never the people you see at the bars.
These bitches.
These bitches.
That meme, I never see you at the gym. I never see you at the protest.
I never see you at the protest, honey. So what are you doing with your life other than getting swole? So,
Lydian.
Yes.
What is the verdict?
The verdict.
Do you have a verdict? Do we have a verdict for this episode? I know that we normally do it for each headline, but what is the verdict today?
The witch's verdict is clear.
Put you on the spot.
Yes, the witch's verdict is clear. We need to be focusing our energy on getting things that are hidden and bringing it to light fully. Focusing on transparency. Witches need to be focusing on transparency as well as making sure that they are active and doing things. The witch's verdict is very clear. If you're not doing anything, especially and you call yourself a witch or a magical practitioner, then what are you? That is always going to be our verdict for that, but especially when it comes to things like the Epstein files, primaries, getting more politically active when we do not see the results that we want, because we need to start seeing the results that we want. And people forget that democracy means that you, by default, have a participatory role. You have to participate. If you don't participate, you don't get to bitch about it. And I get that it's more than just voting. Participating in democracy is more than just voting. It's actually doing the work of politics. That's why originally civics was introduced into our schools, is because Thomas Jefferson said that the only way a democracy survives is if we teach the children how to do it. Like, we have to be teaching us that there are three branches of government. There are ways that things get done. But if you don't know any of this and you're not in an active role in democracy, then you don't get to bitch. The rest of us have enough to bitch about and to worry about. You can just sit on the sidelines until everything is better, and then maybe we'll let you come back out and play.
By the way, for those white gays out there who are like, Oh my God, it's so sad. Blah 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 blah. But don't do shit. Here's something to light a fire under your ass. This week, in this place where I live was a convention about education, and I had the wonderful opportunity to speak with one of the speakers at this convention who taught queer literature and was trying to get a huge thing about why queer literature is so important for teachers to read, but it to also be a part of the education. But also, here's the number, and this is a horrible, horrible fucking number. Since Trump's placement in office, the suicide rate for queer individuals has gone up 700%,
Oh, yeah.
according to the Trevor Project.
Queers are offering themselves at left and right exponential rates because they can, and I throw no shame at them. In fact, I see them and I hear them and I understand their pain. I don't want to be alive either sometimes. It sucks. There's so much happening in my life right now that I wish I could have peace over, and I could probably list at least 80 reasons why it's Donald Trump's fault.
And not only is it, I just want to remind people that when you're in that state and you look over and you see somebody saying, oh, like queer lives matter, or like something like that, or, these white queers who don't do anything and they just say it and they have the fake rage. And then like you see them turn around and not give a shit is so disheartening. Like, enough. We are all in this boat. Yes, it's hard. Welcome to the lives of us POC every day. I'm sorry. For me, I get it. We're tired. We don't have the luxury to be like, oh, well, I'm tired. I don't want to. Too bad. Get the fuck up before I drag you by your fucking ear. Get up. We've got shit to do. There's shit to be done, and we need to get to doing it.
You're making Sebastian get the chunkla.
White gays are white first.
White gays are white first, except for me. I'm not white. I've slowly decided I'm assimilating into POC culture. I'm going to pull.
Not the cultural appropriation.
Absolutely. I'm going to just become one of you. No.
What is that thing where people are like, oh, actually, I'm like they like transition.
They call themselves transracial.
Transracial.
I don't feel like being white. I'm black now. That's
Lydia,
some privilege.
no.
That's some privilege, if ever I heard it. Oh my God. I don't think, I don't want to put words in Sebastian's mouth, but I don't think there's necessarily a spell today because honestly, it's just get out there and fucking do something. But I might be wrong. Sebastian, have you cooked something up for us today?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, number one, it's definitely get shit done. So go out there and get shit done. Stop waiting. Go do shit. I think too, this is a good reminder to work things in accordance with what is going on. So that way, take the path of least resistance, right? So if we're seeing that there's tension around information, if we're seeing that there's conflict of what's revealed or not, don't just leave it to the stars to decide what's going to be revealed, right? Go do it yourself, right? So this is very, very, very solar work, and also a bit of mercurial work. So if I were you, I would go grab some solar herbs, mercurial herbs, materia related to such. I would definitely be grabbing, again, your political materia. So things like dust off of political buildings or dirt from political buildings works really well to lean this in that direction. And work herbs that you have already, right? So like this is for those of you who are in situations in which you can't go get some crazy ass herb you've never heard of, right? Work with what's in your neighborhood, work with what's around you, right? So if we're trying to pull information, go find a plant that has thorns, right? That is I would work a plant that has thorns that is in a way of like people walking a lot, right? So if it's like near a sidewalk, if it's near a crossroads, if it's near on a hiking trail where people's clothes get caught a lot, grabbing that plant and like talking with it and being like, look, clearly you're very good at gathering information and grabbing it and bringing it to where it needs to be, right? Doing that with the information that needs to be revealed solar wise. If you want to use a day and hour of the sun works wonders, which is Sundays for those who haven't put one and one together. But solar work is really good. Also using like light itself. So you can literally have like, okay, as I reveal this to the light, this is revealed to the public eye, right? And you can like tape that to like your window of your like house or apartment, so that way it's always in the sun, so it's always being revealed. Or you could have it under like a lamp you have on, so that way it's like even if it's nighttime, the light is still being shown upon this this information. It's still being revealed. You can work a number of spirits, solar spirits, mercurial spirits. I'm trying to think. Do you guys have anything to add to this type of work?
I would say I've never been a pentacle person, but the fourth pentacle of Mercury, rosemary and mint are my go-to girlies for this kind of thing.
Same page. I was thinking of saying it, but I wanted to keep it open for our listeners. But rosemary, she can work wonders for stuff like this. She's not just good at cleansing and purification and exorcism, but she's also a very good at this type of solar revealing work.
She's verse.
She's very mercurial, I would say, in my experience.
No, yes. Sorry, yes. Mercurial is what I was going to use. I'm like looking at my notes and try to talk at the same time. But yes, so mercurial is what I would use. And the way that it grows too is kind of very, with like having it near the front doors and stuff like that is another thing of like thresholds that I would keep in mind with this type of work.
That's been excellent. I think we have a show. In that case, this has been the Ember Report, where resistance is witchy and spells are not optional. I'm Lydian, the voice in the flame.
I'm Len, the witch at the crossroads.
I'm Sebastian, the sorcerer of annihilation. If today's fire stirred something in you, share it. Cast it wide.
If you'd like to linger a while, there's always tea on the stove, a place in the resistance, and room at our table. At this time, we would like to thank our Patreon sponsors by name: Sabrina Owens-Newcraft and Pablo Rodriguez. Thank you so much for your support.
We will be carrying this Ember over to Ashes and Sparks, our Patreon after show, for an extended conversation. You can find that at patreon.com/The Ember Report. For as little as $1, you can gain access to our after show and Discord server. Until next time.
May our rage spark resistance.
May our grief become fire.
May our magic be sharp and unrepentant.
The lantern is lit.
You're still out there.
And so are we.